So I was recently working with a client that has been trying to buy a property for a couple years now, and they were shocked as to the different payment from a year ago that the monthly payment would be of the property to today. And we ran a similar situation of a $850,000 property just over a year ago. The payment would have been just over $4,000 a month, and today it's just under $5,800 a month for that, relatively that same property. And that's a huge difference, going from just over $4,000 to right around $5,800 a month in just over a year. And I know that that situation actually happens quite a bit, because I do see that quite often from buyers that have been, just around for the last year and a half, getting pre-approved with 3 to 4% interest rate, and now we're at 6.5 to 7% interest rate. Plus, prices have gone up, so you have a higher rate and a higher price, and so that's really confusing for the consumer. And this client, I know that they're not alone, but they're thinking of, what are my options? I can't necessarily afford that $5,800, and if I did, that would be a huge sacrifice. But renting also is very expensive too. It's not, their property isn't renting at $5,800, but it's on its way to. And so what are your options in that situation? You could have bought at $4,000 a month, had that payment just over a year ago, and now you're at $5,800. It's definitely a real life example. I feel like there's a couple options there that a buyer can consider. Number one is just bite the bullet and buy that property. There's a good chance that prices are either going to hold or increase over the next year or two. So the one benefit of buying today is that you lock in that price, and you hope in the future, in a year or two, you're not going to have that same interest rate that you have today, which is 6.5 to 7%. Likely, you probably could get in the 5s, or hopefully one day the 4s. So you lock in that price of the property today, and with hopes to refinancing. Or the other option is to continue waiting and seeing and rolling the dice, is what I like to kind of call that as. But then again, you run the risk of your rent going up and not having control over your rent, or your landlord saying that they want to sell that property. But there is a chance that rates could come down and prices could come down.